Imagine a world where you can own a plot of land on the moon or even on Mars. While this concept may seem like a fantasy right out of a science fiction novel, the reality is far more complicated and oddly entertaining. Thanks to the growing interest in space exploration, some of the world's wealthiest individuals and celebrities have entertained the idea of purchasing land on celestial bodies. While these purchases are legally questionable, they still make for fascinating headlines. In today's video, we will dive into the bizarre world of off-Earth property ownership. We'll explore the rumors surrounding celebrities allegedly purchasing plots of land on the moon, examine the legalities of such acquisitions, and take a look at how billionaires like Elon Musk are laying the groundwork for humanity's eventual colonization of space. Stick around, because the concept of owning land on the moon, or even Mars, is not as far-fetched as it might sound. The moon, a celebrity land grab. Over the years, there have been persistent rumors and claims that celebrities have purchased land on the moon. Yes, you heard that right. Celebrities allegedly buying pieces of lunar property. But how did this idea come to be? And is it even possible to buy land on the moon? The Moon Land Rush. The legal gray area. It all began in 1967 with the signing of the Outer Space Treaty by over 100 nations, including the United States. The treaty states that no country can claim ownership of celestial bodies, including the moon. This means that no nation, and by extension no individual, has the legal right to own land on the moon. In other words, you can't buy land on the moon in any legal sense. However, this hasn't stopped some companies from selling lunar plots to eager buyers. These companies claim to offer certificates of ownership for small plots of land on the moon. And while these documents may look official, they hold no legal weight. These businesses often operate in a legal gray area, preying on the desire of some wealthy individuals to own a piece of something extraordinary. Celebrities and their moon land purchases. Several celebrities have been rumored to have purchased lunar plots, though there is no solid evidence that any of these purchases are legally binding. One of the most famous examples is the actor William Shatner, best known for his role as Captain Kirk on Star Trek. Shatner has been vocal about his fascination with space, and even mentioned in interviews that he had purchased a plot of land on the moon. Other celebrities, such as Beyoncé and Jay-Z, have also been linked to buying moon land, although these claims have never been substantiated. The allure of owning a piece of the moon seems to captivate the ultra-wealthy, despite the fact that their ownership is more of a symbolic gesture than a legally recognized investment. In fact, purchasing these lunar plots has become something of a novelty or gimmick for wealthy individuals, offering them a unique piece of memorabilia rather than any tangible land rights. While these celebrity claims may be for fun, the idea of owning property on the moon continues to fascinate, especially as space exploration advances and the possibility of lunar colonization becomes more real. Segment 2. The sketchy business of lunar land sales. How exactly do these companies sell land on the moon if it's not legally recognized? The truth is, these businesses use creative marketing strategies to convince customers that their lunar plots are legitimate. For a price, they offer documents that look official, complete with a map showing the plot of land they own on the moon. The purchase is often accompanied by a certificate of ownership and a promise of a unique investment. The role of companies selling moon land. The companies that sell lunar plots often use the Outer Space Treaty's loophole to their advantage. The treaty prohibits any nation from claiming ownership of celestial bodies, but it does not address the legality of private individuals selling plots of land on the moon. Therefore, these companies sell plots under the premise that they are offering land rights, without actually claiming ownership of the moon itself. One of the most famous companies in this field is Lunar Embassy, which has been selling plots on the moon for decades. They claim to offer a deed of ownership for land on the moon, but there is no legal backing to these documents. Yet the business has generated millions of dollars, primarily from wealthy individuals looking to own a piece of space history. Though the land sales are, at best, a novelty, some buyers continue to see the appeal of owning a part of the moon. Some celebrities have even joked about passing down their lunar properties to future generations, giving these pieces of paper a bizarre sense of legacy. It's not about practical use, after all. How can you build a home or start a farm on the moon? But rather about owning something uniquely extraordinary, even if it is entirely symbolic. Segment 3. Elon Musk and the future of space real estate. As intriguing as the concept of owning a piece of the moon is, the future of space real estate is likely to evolve far beyond what we can currently imagine. With billionaires like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos leading the charge in space exploration, the idea of off-Earth property ownership is becoming less of a novelty and more of a reality. Musk's Mars vision. Elon Musk, the CEO of SpaceX, has been vocal about his goal of making humanity a multiplanetary species. His ultimate vision is to establish a colony on Mars, where humans could live and thrive in a new world. This vision is being realized with SpaceX's development of the Starship, a spacecraft designed to carry humans to Mars and beyond. While Musk has not openly discussed the idea of selling land on Mars, it's clear that he has laid the groundwork for future off-Earth real estate. As SpaceX works toward making Mars accessible to humans, the question arises, will billionaires one day be able to buy plots of land on Mars? In fact, some people are already thinking about what Martian real estate might look like. Companies are discussing the potential for establishing private properties on Mars, with some even speculating that we could one day see a market for Martian homes or even Mars errands. These concepts, though speculative, highlight the growing interest in space as a new frontier for real estate investment. The implications of space colonization. While the idea of buying land on Mars is still far off, the possibility is not as far-fetched as it once seemed. If Musk's vision for Mars colonization becomes a reality, the demand for land on Mars could eventually lead to a new kind of real estate market. But how would ownership work on Mars, and who would regulate it? Currently, the 1967 Outer Space Treaty prohibits any nation from claiming sovereignty over a celestial body, including Mars. However, this treaty was signed long before humans had the technological capability to actually reach Mars, let alone colonize it. As space exploration continues to advance, it's likely that new laws and regulations will be developed to address issues like land ownership and resource extraction on other planets. For now, Musk's friends may not be booking their Mars errands, but they certainly have reason to keep an eye on the future of off-Earth property. Segment 4. The space real estate market. Where is it headed? With all this talk about owning land on the move in Mars, the natural question is, what does the future hold for space real estate? Is this just a passing trend, or could we see an actual space real estate market develop in the coming decades? The next steps for space real estate. As technology advances and space travel becomes more accessible, we're likely to see a shift in how people view space. What was once considered an unreachable frontier is becoming a more tangible goal, with private companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin working to make space travel a reality for civilians. This shift could open the door for new kinds of property ownership, including space stations, lunar bases, and even Martian colonies. As these new frontiers are explored and settled, it's possible that space real estate could evolve into a thriving market. In the early days of space exploration, governments held a monopoly on space travel. But as private companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin dominate the market, we may begin to see the emergence of private property rights in space. Of course, the legal issues surrounding space real estate are complex. Who would regulate the ownership of land on the Moon or Mars? How would disputes over property lines be handled? And most importantly, who would control the valuable resources found on these celestial bodies? Space tourism. A step toward property ownership? Before we can buy property on the Moon or Mars, space tourism will likely have to become mainstream. This concept has already begun to take shape, with companies like Virgin Galactic, SpaceX, and Blue Origin offering opportunities for civilians to travel to space. As more people gain access to space, the demand for off-Earth experiences will only grow. In the future, owning a property on the Moon or Mars might not be so far-fetched. But first, we need to see how space tourism evolves and whether a market for extraterrestrial real estate emerges. Perhaps in the future, you'll be able to book a stay on the Moon or Mars, just like you would a luxury vacation. While the idea of buying land on the Moon remains largely a novelty, the concept of space real estate is becoming increasingly intriguing. Whether it's a celebrity purchasing a symbolic plot of land on the Moon or billionaires like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos laying the groundwork for interplanetary travel, the possibility of owning property beyond Earth is slowly becoming a reality. Though we are still far from seeing a thriving market for lunar or Martian real estate, space exploration continues to advance at a rapid pace. As technology progresses and private companies continue to push the boundaries of space travel, it's not impossible to imagine a future where owning land on another planet is as common as owning a vacation home today. Until then, we can only dream of the day when the Moon or Mars becomes the next frontier for real estate. But one thing is clear, the sky is no longer the limit. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content on the strange and exciting possibilities of space and beyond. Let's continue to explore the future, one cosmic step at a time.